Are back with Jeffries, and this video I've never been more excited and intrigued to watch a video in my life, because I am not a fan of flying. I understand that it's pretty much a necessity at this point to get where you need to be, but I hate airports, I hate airplanes, and one of the many reasons why I hate it, outside of the fact that you're literally cheating death, is the fact that you have to share it with other people. And it is by far one of the most annoying experiences that you could go through in life. On an airplane, in coach, business, or first class, I don't care where you are, you will find an inconsiderate, stinky, dirty, just fucker, man. This is Jeffries' airplane etiquette. Now that we have been formally introduced to Jeffries from Gun Control, I love him. I love his way of thinking, and I wanted to hear more. So when I saw this was requested, I jumped right on it, because this right here, I've never been more excited to hear what somebody had to say on a topic in my life. And I don't want to wait, so let's go.
Stories. Now, this first story, the first bit of this story you should already know. In the same way that you know things like, don't kill people, try not to rape. When you're on an airplane, there's a thing called plane etiquette, and it goes like this.
Let me hear it.
Window gets an armrest and a wall. Middle gets two armrests. Aisle gets an armrest and a little bit of extra leg. We're not fucking animals, we live in a society.
Yes.
So I was on a flight from Los Angeles to Houston, and I had the middle seat, and that sucks balls. So I'm sitting there with two armrests. Next to me is a petite young lady. She's doing her job, armrest wall. I'm in the middle, two armrests. Sitting next to me here is a great big black man who's as gay as the day is long. He sits down next to me.
He's the gay as the day is long? What is that?
I'm in the middle, two armrests. Sitting next to me here is a great big black man who's as gay as the day is long.
That's exactly what it is.
He sits down next to me, and we do the niceties. Hello, hello. And then with no issue whatsoever, he sees my elbow there, and he just went, shock. And I went, now I'm pretty upset, but he's a big fucking guy, and it's a long flight, so there's no need to get into an argument. So I have that argument that you have in your head where the other person doesn't know you're having an argument. Where you're like, you're a fucking asshole, and if you said this, and I would say, well, good sir, I think you're mistaken, right?
Okay.
So I sit there festering for like 45 minutes, and eventually the air stewardess comes with a drink cart. Now, while I'm on air stewardesses, right? Whenever you watch a movie set in the 60s and they show air stewardesses, or an old TV show, they show like Pam Am or something, they always depict air stewardesses as these hot young things with a pillbox hat and a little bun and big tits and a small waist and holding a bag going, no. I don't think any of those women have retired. This thing was just being propped up by the drink cart.
Okay.
50 years of recycled air had made her skin drip off her skull like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I've never seen that, but okay.
She comes up. The guy reaches over for his drink and his pretzels. Armrest open, bang! I'm back in.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm not fucking going anywhere either.
Right.
He puts all of his things down in his tray and he goes to put his elbow back, but he fucking can't, can he?
Right.
He can't, because there's a wall there called Jim Jeffries and he can't fucking move it, right?
Damn right.
And he's pushing, and I'm acting like I can't feel it, like this, but casual like.
Yeah. And mind you, this exact same experience that he's talking about and everything that he's teaching, it applies to the movies as well. We'll talk about it later. But this applies to movies as well. If you go to movie theaters, crowded, sitting next to, you with your date, you sitting next to another date, there's an etiquette to it. We'll talk about it.
Then he gets his fist like this and his hand like that and he's pushing really hard back. And I'm trying to do that casual. But he's much bigger than me and eventually I have to give in. I just went chock. So I turned to him and said what needed to be said.
Right.
Why are you such a cunt?
Go. Okay.
Now I understand that that word in this country isn't as popular as maybe it should be. People were freaking the fuck out. They were going, he did, he just said it, I heard him say it. Called that man a C-bomb, I heard him say it, Bob. Called the man a C-bomb, Bob.
What's wrong with cunt?
And he was shocked as well. He turned to me and went, excuse me, what did you just call me?
Oh, shit.
But in for a penny, in for a pound, right? And I was there going, a cunt, sir. I called you a cunt. And he said, are you upset because you're trying to take my armrest? And I went, you don't know plain etiquette. Window gets an armrest and a wall. Middle gets two armrests. Aisle gets an armrest and a little bit of extra leg. We're not fucking animals. We live in a society.
Okay. That's what you said. Okay.
And the people that initially hated me agreed with me like, he is right about that. That is true.
Exactly. That's exactly
That is true. We do live in a society. And he went, oh, I'm only taking the back of the armrest. You can have the rest of the armrest. And I went, you take the back, you take the whole fucking thing. No one gives a fuck about the front of the armrest. No one's ever gone, thanks for the front of the armrest.
Exactly. You gotta lay back and get comfortable.
I said, it's not just that you're taking my armrest. Your elbow has come over the armrest and it's digging into my rib cage. And he said, well, maybe if you lost some weight. I know. I was gobsmacked. I didn't know what to fucking say. I just turned to him and went, you bitchy queen. Now everyone on the plane has lost their fucking shit. The movie can fuck off, mate. No one's watching the fucking movie. I'm the entertainment now. The air stewardess comes running back on her walker. She comes up to us.
The walker. Okay.
And she goes, what's going on here? And I said, I want this fucking asshole away from me. And she said, sir, this is not the situation to be swearing in. And I went, yes it is. We're having a fight. And she went, well, there's no need for name calling. I called the guy bitchy queen, so I sort of get what she's saying. And I turned to her and said, you know what? You're right. There is never a need for name calling. But, as a proud gay man myself, I feel like I've earned the right to say such words, so.
He went gay so he could prove.
She apologized.
Oh, shit.
The gay guy knows I'm fucking lying.
Right.
He's fagging the fuck out, just.
Right.
And the air stewardess went, can everyone calm down? What's the problem here? And he went, he's trying to take my armrest. And the air stewardess went, everyone knows the middle gets two armrests.
Exactly.
And I went, see? She goes, I'm going to have to break you two up. And she points to the man and said, sir, you're going to have to find a seat at the back of the plane. I'm victorious. I stand up. I bash my head on the thing.
I think I know where this is going.
I point at the man. And I went, get to the back of the plane. Now, a lot of people on that plane hadn't seen the rest of the argument.
Exactly.
All they've seen is me pointing at a black man, yelling, get to the back of the plane. Things got real awkward real fucking quick.
I bet so.
I didn't know what I'd done yet. People were yelling at me, calling me a racist, and I was like, I know, but how do you know? Then a guy threw a bag of peanuts at the back of my head and said, sit down, you limey bastard. And I was like, that's the British. I'm Australian, you fucking racist. Which would have made a lot of sense if being British or Australian was a race and not a nationality. But at that stage, I was clutching at straws, really. So, I go sit back down in his old chair. We got the empty seat between us. Me and the girl pounded out. Now, later on the flight, I'm walking up the back of the plane to the toilet. And I want to see the guy, because I want to go.
Petty.
And I get all the way to the back of the plane. I don't see him anywhere. I'm about to go in the toilet. And then I see his leg around the corner. There were no more seats. This is a full flight. He's sitting in the air stewardess's landing seat that folds down with a seatbelt over the top like he's in a fucking go-kart. I put my head around the corner. I went, no armrest here, dickhead. And the air stewardess went, you get back to your seat. And I ran away like a child, like. So, for landing, I go sit back down in his old seat. Now, the air stewardess seat is taken, so she's taking my old seat in the middle, and she fucking hates me. And I'm taking both armrests, fuck her. And as we're landing, the guy over the aisle leans over and goes, excuse me, you're Jim Jeffries, right? And I'm like, yeah, man, how you doing? And he went, I had no idea you were gay. Fucking yeah, man. I like cock. Let's tell us.
You know, nah, because you know what? He a Chico. Here's why he a Chico. It's his accent. What? I'm like, it wasn't even the punch. It was his accent that fucked me up. The accent, man. Listen, he's not a bad storyteller. I've definitely heard better. I think Kevin Hart is a better storyteller. Chappelle, better storyteller, but it wasn't bad. And I don't think I've ever seen. No, I'm lying. I've seen somebody sit down, but like usually in like a stool or a chair. It looked like he was. What was he sitting on? Like a speaker, or was that like? What was he sitting on? That was a speaker, right? Oh, just a part of the stage. Okay. But yeah, he's a great. He is a good storyteller. He really is. And I don't know why. I thought I was expecting like a big punch, but I didn't get it. But it was fine. It was a great story. And he's absolutely right. It's just a way. So this is what I mean by the movie theaters, right? At the theater, people, it's pretty common, you know, depending on, you know, who you're sitting next to, this and that. It's like men, we kind of sit next to each other because we don't want our lady to sit next to the man on the other date, right? So as men, as we sit next to each other, watching a film on our date, we gotta establish, fam, if I'm the first to sit down, this is my armrest. My girl, she already know this is my armrest. I already got this one. But I want my arms stretched out. This is how I want to be with my popcorn. I want my popcorn sitting on my chest as I look at the screen. Both armrests, got my cup holder right here. It's just an etiquette to this. And it's like nobody respects the etiquette of sitting next to strangers. It's like we already strangers. We don't know each other. We don't know our walk of, I don't know your walk of life. I don't know where you come from. I don't know if you're a good person. You could be an absolute dick. But to the movie theater example, we in this movie theater for 2 hours. For the next 2 hours, sure, we're not friends. We're not even going to speak. Hell, depending on what type of movie it is, I may not even look at you. But there is a courtesy when we sit next to each other that we just have to abide by. But on an airplane, it's like a million times worse because, again, it's already uncomfortable. I don't care what class you get. I've never been on one of those special planes with the bed or where you get a own individual like pod and you stretch. I've never been on none of them type of planes. I've always been on a commercial airliner, 3 seats in a row, go all the way back. Those are always the type of planes I'm on. And again, I don't care what, unless you get the absolute first row A1, you're uncomfortable. It's just it's no way of escaping it. And boy, I mean, when you sit next to somebody that's a jerk, oh man, I mean, and I'm a non-confrontational person unless provoked or when necessary. So if somebody don't know the rules, which he's absolutely right, window, you get the wall, you get the window, you get the armrest that's right there, but the right side you do not get. The middle gets that, and he gets the one on the other side, and then, like you said, you get the armrest that's on the aisle, and you also get the extra leg space, so you can put your foot in the middle. That's how it works. He's absolutely right. So when you come across people that don't know the rules, you just want to sucker punch them. You just want to do it. So I'm happy that he was able to put it in the story mode and actually explain it. And it was a good story. It really, really was. Again, his accent is so much part of a part of his stand up. I don't know if that's intentional or I know that's his accent. That's naturally how he talks. Um, but you could, I could tell, like, he definitely is aware that his accent is a part of it. The way he's able to transition in and out of it, I could tell he knows, and which is great. That listen, if you have a superpower, you need to take advantage of it. So, his accent, for me at least, is so much a part of his stand up in the 2 videos that I've watched. And I love how expressive he is with his hands and with his eyes. Like, he's very, you know. Again, granted, I don't know too many comedians who aren't, but I guess now that I'm like really analyzing, it's refreshing to see somebody very expressive and that whole thing. So yeah, I like Jim. I like Jim. Give me more. Give me more. I'm always down to watch some comedy, so I'm always down for a good laugh. So request more. But as always, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate y'all for watching. Until next time with Jim Jeffries. Peace.